Nigeria's digital landscape is evolving rapidly, creating new opportunities for businesses of all sizes. However, micro, small and medium enterprises, which make up a significant portion of the economy, still face major challenges in adopting digital tools. Yet, with the right support, digital transformation can unlock growth, efficiency and financial inclusion for these enterprises. In this conversation with Yomi Oweye, Senior Manager Market Development at MTN Nigeria, we talk about how tech can empower Nigerian businesses to scale and compete in a digital-first economy. Now, Nigeria's digital economy is expanding, but many MSMEs still struggle to fully adopt digital tools. Now, you are quite passionate about leveraging tech to enhance business growth. So what do you see as the key barriers holding MSMEs back? And more importantly, how do we bridge this gap to ensure more businesses benefit from digital transformation?
Okay, so we've identified that in the MSME environment, that cost is also very essential for the business owners. So in adopting digital tools, digital platforms, we see that cost is also one of the main barriers to it, because many of the tools that are available are tools that are produced or manufactured in terms of the global environment. So you see tech giants producing some of these productivity tools or some of these digital tools for the MSMEs to use. And you also understand that's the challenge that we have in our environment in terms of the forex environment of the impacts there. So many of these tools are bought in USD, and then many of our SMEs are finding it difficult to be able to assess them. So costs is a major one for the MSMEs. I think another thing also in terms of it's also digital literacy and awareness. Many of them, when you also look at our environment, in terms of our entrepreneurial trajectory, you'll see that we are more traditional than digital. So that traditional conservative way of doing business has also impacted us. So many of the owners, many of the MSMEs players are not digitally literate, they're not digitally aware, and then we have in terms of skills, digital skills, level of maturity and literacy is low. Another challenge also is the regulatory framework. Our environment also has not also been able to provide, to be able to enable the MSMEs to be able to adopt digital tools. You'll see that in India, maybe about 90% of the MSMEs in India have been able to adopt digital tools, and it's just because of the conscious push by the government of India to be able to make sure that that all MSMEs are digitized, and they have the roadmap, they have a plan, and they created the necessary regulatory framework to be able to do that. So these are some of the issues that are there for the MSMEs, but also impacted them also in taking to be able to adopt digital platform.
One area where we've seen significant growth is fintech, and of course in the area of digital payments. As more businesses and consumers embrace cashless transactions, how do you think telecom companies can play a bigger role in driving financial inclusion, especially for the MSMEs?
Okay, so I would say that not sounding to be biased, but I would say that kudos to the telecoms provider, because for them to have about the time that they consciously came into the digital, the fintech environment, I've seen tremendous growth, and also kudos also to the Central Bank of Nigeria that have also provided that support to the environment to be able to allow for this growth. We'll see that yes, banking or digital or fintech environment have been seeing some growth over the years, but we have seen very unprecedented one with the entrance of the digital telecoms players. The telecom guys, the telecom providers, they have the trust of the people, they have the goodwill in working for them. they have the coverage almost everywhere. Almost everybody owns a phone. So that is they also have the structure to be able to also enable and to strengthen the penetration and the adoption of fintech and digital and payments. And we have seen that play out. And I think that's also additional investment also for them. Also, the fact that they have the foundation. It's just the fact that they have the foundation. It just puts some building blocks on it. And we are seeing that investment coming in from the telecoms player. We are seeing heavy investment. We're also seeing education. Also, like I mentioned earlier, in terms of that gap of lead awareness and literacy, and you are seeing them investing so much in building that. I think with that, we're on the right trajectory. Many of the announcements that I've seen also from this from the telecoms provider is that they'll be investing more in the digital and fintech space.
Of course, access to these digital solutions, is one thing, but affordability is another major challenge. Now, many small businesses are eager to adopt tech, but some of them are held back by cost concerns. What are some cost-effective ways these businesses can leverage technology to scale without necessarily breaking the bank?
Okay, so I want to lay a foundation here, standpoint that cost is relative. We'll also be looking at it from value perspective. Once we are able to establish the value that the MSMEs are going to be getting from adopting digital tools, initial investment could be seen to be high, but the medium, even the short term, medium term, and even the long term, we'll see that the MSMEs are going to be the one to be in for, to be able to reap the benefits. For me, we have tools. We have a way to, one of the things I recommend to MSMEs, start small. Don't look at the big thing as in terms of what the large enterprises are doing, in terms of heavy investment, but start small. There are some free tools that are available. You can even start with that in terms of learning. Also, let's also begin to adopt the local tools.
Now, we talked about the role of telecom companies, in driving financial inclusion. But beyond that internet connectivity, what other digital tools do you think are absolute game changers for Nigerian businesses looking to compete in a global economy?
So there are tools that are free, the basic ones. Digitization does not necessarily mean that you need to change something drastically. It's just moving from the way you do something manual, the way you are doing operations manual, and now begin to go into automating it. So for me, for a starter, I say look at 3 areas, MSMEs that you need to also begin to look at digitizing. Number 1, look at digitizing your operations, the things that you do, your normal business operations. Begin to look at tools that will also help you in terms of automating that operations. Number 2, you digitize also your presence. You also need to make sure that your brick and mortar, having a local store, having an office or thereabout, does not make you a global player. Digital presence, have websites today. They are very, you don't need to also employ the services of a tech group to be able to have websites. There are AI supported website builders that you can, as an entrepreneur, at whatever level that you are, to be able to build a website for yourself as a way of starting. So organizations, telecoms organizations today are providing that to the MSMEs. Other players also are providing that to the SMEs. It's something that the SMEs can also adopt. The third element for me is digital payments. So digitize your payments, move away from the fact that the bank, customers have to be paying you, scanning Stella to you, sending Stella evidence of payment. Digitize your banking system such that even when you are asleep, your business is open and payments and businesses happening, payments are happening. So for me, those 3 areas, when the MSMEs consider those 3 areas as very critical for them in terms of digitizing the activities around those 3 areas, I think it's a starting point.
Thank you so much, Yomi Oweye, Senior Manager Market Development at MTN Nigeria. It's been great having you on the program.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. Thank you.